For Thursday, January 27th, 2022, it's the Serenno Squadcast, the official podcast of the Serenno Squad. Almost lost it there.
Who could tell?
You got it. You're good. We do it live. There's one take only.
One take to rule them all. All right. Welcome, everyone, to this week's episode of the Squadcast.
Woo!
This week, we've got the crew with us. We've got Wayne.
Hey.
We've got Paul.
That's me.
Evan.
Hey, that's me.
There he is. All right. And you have me, Gunner. Welcome, everyone, to this week's episode. We have some Legion news. So finally, we actually have something to talk about. So let's talk about that.
Oh yeah, we're gonna bring him in for a dozen.
That is the 501st
Legion news.
All right. So big Legion news. We've got a couple new entirely now. Okay, are these new garrisons that we have?
If I understand correctly, the Nordic garrison, which covers like the Nordic countries like Norway, Finland, Denmark, they broke up, and so now we have it's the Swiss garrison
and Finland.
Is it Swiss or Swedish?
Swedish.
You better get it right.
This is Switzerland. That's a little bit farther south.
This is the most American I've ever been.
They're the Swedish and the Finnish garrisons, and I believe are they full garrisons, or are they just in the probationary stage?
They are full garrisons, but they've gone into a probationary phase. Anytime you have a new unit, they go into a probationary phase. Basically, like, do you really know what you're doing?
So that's basically the 501st like Legion Command gets they get the message saying, hey, we want to start a new garrison. Legion Command says, cool. There's a vote of the council, I believe, and if the council says cool, sounds good, then they begin their life as a garrison, but in a probationary stage.
Yeah, it's basically they've got the training wheels on right now. Just make sure everything's up and running. It's usually 6 months, and then after that, they're like, "Yay, you can go, fly,
I think
birdie,
it's
fly."
I think it's 6 months for a squad and a year for a garrison, but I could be wrong.
It could be that way.
But
I could look it up on the computer right there, but that was time.
The vote might seem weird, but the reason for the vote is because sometimes there can be some kind of funny business, like if a garrison broke up and a new garrison went for approval and the breakup was not amicable, it typically will not pass. So when you form a new garrison, it has to be signed off, or a new squad, it has to be signed off by the previous garrison CO. It has to be an amicable split, and it's typically when a garrison has just gotten too large, or if the geographical boundaries don't make sense, they'll split off, and it's typically amicable.
Yeah, it's just growth. It's 30 people to a garrison. So once you get that many in an area, they kind of want to start governing themselves.
Yeah. Surprisingly, the German garrison has not. And the German garrison is at almost 1,000 people. I think they're the garrison.
Yeah, they are huge. Do they do squads, but they haven't split. They're like, no, we are the German garrison. We are one united garrison.
We are German garrison. We do not split.
Yeah, I think some of the most viewers that we have are from Germany. So
really,
all two of them. Yeah, probably not. Yeah.
We could also talk about in the Legion news. There was a big vote recently about broadening the scope of what costumes are allowable in the 501st.
Oh,
I really like this idea too.
Yeah, it's so basically a revision to the charter was submitted that said, instead of the 501st being like the bad or villainous characters, they basically opened that term up from villainous to like sort of just morally gray, so that you can capture people like Boba Fett in the new episode, the new show, and Mando in season 2 and on, like the characters that so far have actually not been accepted because they haven't been explicitly bad guys.
Yeah, because if you look at the 2 seasons of Mando and what we've gotten to Boba Fett, it's like these are clearly not nice people. Like Mando's not a nice guy. He does bad things, but because like after episode 3 he's fighting the Empire, they're like, well, we'll only take his look in the first episode, but none of the other episodes. And it's like it gets to the point where it stops making sense.
Yep.
So it's like, well, because he's fighting this enemy and not this enemy, we won't accept it.
Just give the people what they want.
Yeah. So
Yeah, and it's not going so far as to like merge us with Rebel Legion or add Luke Skywalker in or anything like that. I mean, it's really just I think a lot of people are worried that it'll add, they can have people like Han Solo, who's kind of like in that morally ambiguous, which I mean is a possibility. Han Solo's look from Solo. I don't know if we'd ever do that or if we would want to. I think there's typically been sort of like like an agreement with Rebel Legion, a gentleman's agreement with Rebel Legion, that if they have a face character, that's theirs, and we will not have that, even if it's a character that could apply to us. And that a lot of this came about because Rebel Legion approved a Boba Fett, I believe, from either the new show or from Mando season 2. And so now the 501st was all of a sudden in this gentleman's agreement gray area where they didn't want to step on any toes by approving a Boba Fett because Rebel Legion approved it. And so that kicked off this whole discussion. That's, I think, where this originally came from.
it all needs to be one club anyways.
Yeah. One
But
club
that's
to
just
rule
me.
them all.
That's just
Yeah.
the opinion of one lone nerd in Virginia.
By the way, I do have some images of the new garrisons.
Yes, put up those fancy logos. They look
Yeah.
really good. I do like
And-
the logos.
And not that Tiger King gif.
Okay,
All
Swedish
right.
character. Yes,
Yeah.
not the Swiss.
Not Swiss.
I think
That's-
Wayne made the impression that this was very similar to the Serenno Squad logo.
It might
Which
be the
look-
same artist because
It
there's one
definitely
artist
is.
who designs a lot of logos.
They look so good.
Saying it works very well with ours. If I were to sew that patch beside our patch, they would look like they went together.
Yeah.
Yes, they are very complimentary.
Sister patches, sister garrisons.
Yes.
Yeah,
And then
looks
we've
really
got
good.
the Finnish garrison,
Yeah, which is
Yeah.
which is still not Switzerland.
it's
Oh no,
there it is.
it's not this.
Oh,
That is the most appropriate gift to come up ever. And this
There
is
we
why you
go.
gotta watch. This is why you gotta go to YouTube to watch the show.
This may be my all-time favorite logo. I mean, like it is just so sinister, like with the creepy green lights and the busted up. Oh, it's just awesome.
Yeah, I like this one a lot. It's the jagged edges, the asymmetry, and the northern lights in the background.
I want to
Yeah.
get that on a coin, but in that shape.
Yeah.
I like the dirty beat up armor.
Yeah. You would, you
It gives-
Sandy.
It gives you that whole like indoor feel. It feels like the
Yeah,
Ewok missions on Battlefront,
that's very true.
the murder bears.
Murder Bears. Those were good times when we were playing Battlefront 2.
They can be had again.
No, we've moved on. No, those
Better
times
to
are
read-
over forever.
I have to reinstall the game.
Oh man.
I think I might actually still have it installed.
Blame it all on Master Chief Collection sucking up all my hard drive space.
Yeah. If you have one Call of Duty game, that's it.
Yep, I can't relate. Can't relate, guys.
Gunner's like the last game system I played on ended in a 64, N64.
The last Battlefront I played was for the PlayStation 2.
Battlefront 2.
He just pops a new SD card in his Switch, and he's good.
Right. I've got the Switch. I need to do
Puts a new disc in his Dreamcast.
just, fresh cartridge for my Sega Genesis.
Nice.
Yes.
Give me a nice Sonic 2.
Yes.
Fresh punch card for your Atari. I don't know what you put in an Atari.
Cartridges.
Cartridges, there were no fancy things for other than the controls for the Atari.
All right. So we got some episodes of Boba Fett, don't we?
Boba Fett, we do.
Well,
I think we have some upcoming troops.
Oh, yeah, we do. Yep.
Troop? What's a troop? I just dress up and hang out in my backyard.
Yeah. What's troops, Precious? It's been a long time. So tell us more. Who knows about these troops? I've not heard about.
We've got Big Lit Comic Con, which supposedly we have a table at. I don't know who's running the table because I don't have the table stuff anymore. But yeah,
where is the table stuff?
Big Lit Comic Con is in, as of this recording, 3 weeks.
What date?
February 12th and 13th, I think. Yes, that sounds right. Valentine's Day.
How romantic.
Yeah, because I'm actually in good old St. Joe, Missouri that week. So then when I come back, I don't know. Heather's still not super keen on us going. So my thinking is probably not.
Might not want to jump off the plane from another state and then go run and hang out with a whole bunch of people.
I told Heather, I was like, because I traveled in December to Birmingham for a work thing, and I thought we were all going to be safe, and then I came back not with COVID, but I did come back with a cold, and I gave it to Heather, and she was not too happy about that. So I bought a big old pack of N95s. I'm wearing them from the time that I wake up until the time that I go to bed. I'm going to slip in pieces of food. I'm going to go bloop, bloop, and pop them into the mask. Yeah, that thing is not coming off.
Right. Well, better safe than sorry. I hope that you are, safe and that you don't get sick, buddy.
Hopefully everyone going to Big Lake stays safe as well. I would love. I think there's so many great people who are going to be there. Isn't LeVar Burton going to be there?
Yeah, LeVar Burton, Michael Biehn. My brain just stopped working after those two names. Those are the big names. Isn't the dude from Hook, Rufio, Donnie Vasco, isn't he coming?
Yep. Rufio.
Wow. There's one more big name. That's one of the Power Rangers.
You know who you forgot? The guy who was a zombie in season 2 of Walking Dead. What's his name?
If you live in Southwest Virginia, that joke's very funny.
His name Jeremy Ambler. That's his name, because it's on every single. back before Big Lick, when it was just all like, you go to a con, there'd be 30 people there. He was the big top name guest. Yeah.
I was gonna pull up one of their posts, but I don't see the post that I've seen on Facebook. The one that's got all the different guests coming.
Those are the 4 big media guests. There's a Wonder Woman artist who's coming, whose name escapes me at the moment, and there's one other big comic name. I'm brain fried. My brain got locked into Boba Fett nodes. It's like, is this Boba Fett related? No, then we're not gonna worry about it right now.
Get that out of here.
Arthur Saddam's coming.
Do what?
Who?
Arthur Saddam.
That's the other name.
Yeah.
That's the other name I was trying to think of. Because he's the Marvel Zombies guy.
Yep.
Yeah. So yeah, those are the big. You got the 2 big comic guests, you got the 4 big media guests, and then there's like probably some smaller people too.
Very cool. Very cool. I cannot find it, but yeah, that's pretty cool.
So that's in a couple weeks in February. And then in the end of April, end of April, we got contacted to do an event with the YMCA in Blacksburg to do a to help support them in a healthy kids, encouraging kids to exercise, eat right, do all that kind of good stuff. We did a virtual thing with them last year, and they're like, well, would you come out and hang out with us in person this time?
That one I really, really want to go to. I'm hoping by then COVID will be in a good place. So even so, I'd want to go, and man, I need an excuse to wear my Boba Fett. I might need to.
Especially now, because this is like the most popular Boba Fett's been since 1983.
All I'll need is the seatbelt extender for my for the jetpack harness that goes around my middle, because I doubt I could buckle it right now.
You can
it's the
do
only
it.
only part of the costume that's actually tight. Everything else is actually quite loose.
You just get one of those like girdles and just lace yourself in.
I mean, all it is, it's such a simple construction. I could easily just fix it with something better, something like a longer piece of. Even if I stuck a piece of elastic in there, it'd be easy to fix.
Yeah, those are the two troops that I know of are upcoming. There's at least one other late in the year. We did get a Salem Red Sox game, which I think is in August. So troops are recruiting. Yay!
Huzzah! Yay! I want to get back in my gunner. And then maybe one of these days. This helmet.
I was like, what are you doing over there?
This isn't working out the way. I think my hand will disappear. Anyways, the helmet. Whatever. Maybe. It depends. You got to get that.
Some modifications I need to do on Rex. Need to fix a few things.
Yeah, me too. Me too, buddy. All right. Well, I think, is that it for our Legion news?
I think so.
That's some pretty good stuff. And so did we mention we've got a lot of elections and stuff going on?
That's part of the reason why Legion news is so light right now and there's no approvals, is because starting next month, we start Legion elections, which they freeze a lot of the approval processes because getting new people in can cause confusion with voting, and there's a lot of people changing positions, so it's hard to get like costumes approved and things like that.
Right.
So a lot of people just sit on things and resubmit them at the beginning of March when all the new people take over.
That's okay. I'm sure we'll get a slew of approvals and awesome costumes. That'd be great.
Yes.
All right.
It's also hard to work on things when it's snowing.
Yeah. Everything's toxic, so you don't want to do it inside or messy, you know.
It was like 50 degrees though today. Today would have been an okay day to paint, I think.
Yeah.
Not a great day, but an okay day.
It's not going to get any warmer, so it'd probably just stay tacky until it got warm again. But I don't know.
True. You'd have to bring it inside, and then your whole house smells like paint.
You can't do that. All right, let's move on.
I have a box full of 3D printed parts I haven't touched in 2 months. Stupid winter.
All right, let's move right on to our top story.
Top story.
Excuse me, that's the wrong franchise.
I think I don't care.
Top story. We've got 2 episodes of Book of Boba Fett.
Woo! Episode 3 and 4.
Episode 3 and 4, and we're just gonna slay right through it, like Santa sleigh. Actually, my computer's about to die, so I'm gonna let you take it from the top, Paul. You got it, buddy. Go.
Okay. All right. Episode 3, The Streets of Mos Espa. The Elixir's cheat sheet. So previously, we had left things were looking good in the Tuscan village. And we've all seen Dances with Wolves. We know how this ends.
I feel like we called it on the last episode. We were like, I think especially you, Paul, you were like, yeah, this is not going to end well for any of these Tuscans.
Yeah, I'm like, they're fully embracing all these tropes and like, yeah, we know how these tropes end. And it's not good. But yeah, so Boba goes out to collect. What was that? We're just gonna move on. Boba goes on to collect the money for the protection, and Pike's like, "Nah, dude, I ain't paying you. I already paid these other biker gangs. Well, I swear I didn't just tell to go kill your friends too." And yeah, he shows up, and all the Tuscans are dead. But I noticed there are two that we don't see. We see the leader, but we don't see the female warrior. And I'm pretty sure we don't see the kid. We didn't see their bodies.
Didn't think about that.
I thought we did see the kid.
I watched it again last night, and I'm like, there's one who kind of looks like the kid, but it was hard to tell because he's very kind of nondescript. But we definitely don't see that kind of second in command major warrior. We don't see her. So I think we might be seeing her again at some point. But yeah, so Boba's in a bad place. So yeah. So in the present, we get everyone's favorite, the biker gang, who I loved. I thought the biker gang is awesome.
I like them. They remind me of like us. I mean, they're kind of like regular people, sort of. Like they're just like kids who don't have really anything to do, and they're not like mean or evil or anything. They're just bored.
Yeah,
definitely get those American Graffiti vibes.
Yeah, it's full on. It's 60s mod culture meets American Graffiti. It is 100% pure George Lucas. It is like just straight up teenage rebellion. Everybody's like, well, why are their bikes so shiny and it doesn't look like Tatooine?
It's so bold.
That's the point. If everything around you is sandblasted and nasty, how are you going to rebel and stand out? Your stuff is going to be shiny and pristine. And like the kids, like, well, they all have the mods and all that kind of stuff. You know, how can they afford that? You've never lived in a small rural town full of poor people. They all have piercings and tattoos. It's the same thing.
Yeah, that's true. There's no explanation for it, but it's true.
They have a really nice car, and they live in a shack on the outskirts of town.
Exactly.
Did anybody else recognize the guy that comes to him, the water guy that asks for his help?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's Stephen Root. So there's been several awesome photoshops because they made a character poster of him with him holding a little stapler.
Nobody respects.
Yeah, I have seen that.
I'm gonna burn my cesspit to the ground.
Burn out my cesspit to the ground.
Yeah. So the that's right. Boba is rudely awakened from his flashback dream by Black Chrysanthemum being like, "I'm gonna kill you."
Oh my god, that was the best ever. He just rips him out of the freaking back the tank and just starts wailing on him.
Yeah.
And he's got all them teenagers to come to the rescue.
Yes, it took It took 7 of them to just kind of subdue Chrysanthemum.
No, just knock him in a hole.
Yeah.
And two Gamorrean guards.
Yeah.
They got whooped. I thought they would, I mean, they kind of fought back, but, you know.
They did the best they could.
They did the best they could. You're right.
Chrysanthemum took on Obi-Wan one-on-one. He is mean.
When we were watching it, I remember like Heather made the comment that scene was like legitimately, it was like out of a scary movie. It was like when you watch the scary movie, like the home invasion type scary movies, like The Strangers, it was very much like home invasion type vibes. And it was like legit scary.
It was how it was filmed. It was very shocking.
Super dark. And it was like, he's super dark and and he's not like Chewbacca. He's nothing like the Wookiees we've seen. He's like got these evil snarls and he's got like the evil eyebrows. And he's just, man, he's so mean.
He went in wearing his angry eyes.
Yes.
So well, they managed to subdue him, and then the next morning, the Hutts roll up, the twins, and they're like, "Oh hey, sorry about all that trying to kill you business. We've got a gift for you that I swear is not a trap. It is absolutely not a trap. This is a totally legit gift that is not going to try and kill you in 2 episodes." So yeah, they bring him a baby Ranker
That was great.
with Danny Trejo as the
Yeah.
Ranker keeper, which is
That was amazing.
so perfect.
It's
It
literally
is.
like, I mean, even better than the original Ranker Keeper from Return of the Jedi. I mean, Danny Trejo is now the Ranker Keeper.
Yeah. Perfectly fits. I mean, if we were gonna bring him into the Star Wars universe, that's like a perfect fit. Not that he has anything to do with rancors or animal or keeping or anything like that, but
He
it
just looks like one.
it just looks
So,
looks the
but if
part.
I had a pet and I had to have somebody watch my pet, it'd be Danny Trejo.
Yeah, exactly.
Apparently, in real life, he's a big supporter of pit bulls. So it was kind of like
Oh.
he's always kind of like the you know, reaffirming pit bulls as not these dangerous creatures that like they're actually like loving dogs.
That's cool.
And he's also a kind of a big nerd. So
Hmm.
it was a very fitting thing.
It seems like a lot of the people that come on have some type of some kind of interest in sci-fi or something like that, except for maybe Bill Burr, because
He does not care.
he talked about how it was literally just Jon Favreau like, hey man, I want to see you in this. And he was like, okay, whatever.
Yeah, Bill Burr could not give a crap about Star
Yeah.
Wars.
I think he's probably come to appreciate it a little bit more.
Probably.
But for the most part, everyone else I wonder if it's because they have interest in Star Wars and sci-fi and stuff like that, they like lean towards the creators of these shows and stuff, or do they just reach out to them because they are fans of these a lot of times
No way,
celebrities?
because we've gotten see 2 seasons worth of The Mandalorian, and we're halfway through this season. We haven't seen Terry Crews, so there's no way that they're reaching out and getting the mark
That's
because we would have seen
true.
him already.
Maybe
That's
maybe
true.
that's who's
Why
inside
isn't
Chris
he?
Ethan.
Oh my gosh, they've got to have gotten in contact with him somehow by now.
There's still time. There's still 3 more episodes we haven't seen.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Well,
that's true.
It's not just not just this series. It could be in any show. He could have his own like show. Whoa, did I just
I would
freeze?
like to see him with Ahsoka.
Yeah.
I'm back. Okay.
He can pop up in Ahsoka.
Yep.
Or any of the other 12 series that they're working on.
I just saw the announcement of Obi-Wan. Yeah.
Yep. Kenobi.
Or Kenobi. Yeah.
Cassian Andor show, the Rebel Pilot show. I mean, come on, there's plenty to choose from.
Yeah. So, and then the episode, I'm trying to remember, how's the episode close out?
The
So
episode.
The Hutts are like, yeah, we're cool. We're gonna leave now. We're gonna go back
They
home.
tell him that that the mayor has given Jabba's
That's right.
cut to the Pikes. So
Thank
he goes to see the mayor who has fled. And so there's a car Vespa chase.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
Vespa chase. You
Did
can't
everybody
forget
say
that.
it was so slow? It was crowded city streets.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well, yeah, I mean, it was as fast as they could go.
I thought it was hilarious.
I
I
feel
thought
like-
the low speed chase like just totally added to the absurdity of it, and I just loved it. It was so weird.
If it was any faster, it would have been extremely reckless. But I did think it was kind of funny how they kind of just floated over stuff and jumped.
Yeah.
It's like what is the line of, are there like, is it the equivalent to like invisible wheels and being on a dirt bike and being able
It
to just like
basically is
just
like
pick
Yeah,
up
basically.
over top of, God, I keep freezing, guys. What's going on?
You're fine. You're fine. We can still hear you. Keep
I
going.
know I'm still here, but my body is somewhere else in another dimension.
it's like they're like the ghosts in Halo. Like they basically they have the same physics as a normal like vehicle. They just are a foot off the
they're
ground.
repulsors.
A ghost in
Yeah.
Halo.
Yeah.
That's pretty good. Those things did just kind of.
I mean, it's the same thing that the bikes do for the biker scouts.
Yeah.
It's just
Yeah.
those are designed for speed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those are
Invisible wheels is the best way to describe it.
yeah, but the Vespa things, particularly the Vespa things that they're riding in this, they're really low to the ground. They're not as low as a bike.
Yeah, they're lowriders.
They're like
Yeah.
really scary low. So I'm like wondering, like, well, how big is that little gap? Maybe it expands. Maybe I don't know.
Maybe there's like a wheel or something on the controls that go whoop whoop whoop.
Maybe makes if you're a really good little. Would you be a pilot, or would you just be a biker, or a speeder? I'm a speeder. Look at me. I'm a speeder. I'm a speeder. What do you call a person? A swooper? A swoop racer.
Or
Yeah,
a
they're
biker.
swoops.
There we go.
Yeah.
They were swooping. They're just swooping.
They still call them bikes, even though there's no wheels.
Yeah, So
And
yeah,
the chase ends with them getting him to crash Biff Tannen style into a carton of Melu runs, which I thought was a nice little touch.
what were those now? I'm not familiar with those.
The little melon thingies that he crashes into were a recurring thing on Rebels. They're called Melu runs.
Oh,
So it was a nice little nod, nice little Easter egg.
nice flavor. Yeah. So they chase him down and all that good stuff.
And he basically gives up that, like, yeah, the Pikes are involved. You're gonna have to go to war with them. And then the episode
The mayor's
kinda,
on their side.
yeah, the mayor has joined the Pikes basically. So it's gonna be Boba Fett and whoever versus the
Preparing
Pikes.
for war.
I can't tell you how happy I am about this because I finally get Pikes like in great numbers because
Yeah.
Yes.
ever since Obi-Wan and Anakin first talked to him, I've been a huge fan of the Pikes.
Oh, dude, let's talk about that shot when they're walking off the ship. That was so cool. Even though they're all wearing their masks, it was so cool.
Yeah, there's a lot
You
of
could
them. Although
tell.
it is interesting to find out that they don't have their own ships, they just fly coach. Like they came in on a transport. They didn't even have their own ships. So
That's because they don't want to draw attention to themselves just yet. There's a plan there.
Yeah.
They're just slipping in.
yeah.
Yeah. All right. So that was the third episode, chapter 3, The Streets of Mos Espa. And moving on to the next episode, chapter 4, The Gathering Storm.
AKA all the plot you've been waiting for.
Yes.
Yeah. So this time Boba has his back to dream that basically fills in. I think this is probably gonna be the end of our flashbacks.
Mhm.
I hope
He's
so.
basically brought us up to current. This is the whole story of him getting Slave One back, of him how he met up with Fennec, how he saved her life, all that kind of stuff. Which I thought it was kind of cool seeing him just hanging out, and then he sees from the other point of view. Basically, Mandalorian season 1 is happening on the other side of that dune because he sees the flares going up when they were fighting
And
Fennec.
you get a little Mandalorian, woo, kind of
Yeah.
like Old West.
Yeah, I was trying to explain to Heather what we were seeing, and I was like, yeah, it's from Mandalorian when he sent to track down Fennec, and she was like, I have no idea what any of that is. So like, I'm sorry.
It basically replays it right after that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like
Which
a
is
no
funny.
goldfish.
It's
Yeah,
funny
exactly.
because after I remember when that episode aired, and at the very end of the episode, we saw some feet like next to her, and everyone's like, "Oh my god, it's Boba Fett!" And it was Boba Fett.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't.
Because at the end of that episode, when you see the scene of the feet walking up, which they just replayed in this episode, there's spurs.
Yeah, you hear the spurs.
Yeah.
The spurs that Boba Fett doesn't wear, but is in his soundtrack.
Yeah.
So he just has a little MP3 player in his pocket, always playing spur noises.
Or he bought special
That's what you need
boots.
to get, Evan.
Special boots that make the noise every time he takes a step. They're like the light up shoes that you have when you're a kid, except they spurs every time you take a step. It's a pretty good idea.
Yeah. So he takes Fennec's mostly lifeless body to a
Oh
mod
my
shop.
goodness, this was ridiculous.
Why? What was
Why
ridiculous
couldn't
about
they
this?
just say that we took her to a hospital and they fixed her up? She's fine. This whole like
She's
cyborg
a-
stomach thing, it done
Number
in
one, that was it. That was in season 2 of Mandalorian. When she came back, they showed the stomach.
Yeah.
We already knew that was there. Boba Fett and Fennec can't exactly walk into a hospital. He's supposed to be dead, even though he's telling everyone he's random passerbys, "Hey, I'm Boba Fett. I'm Boba Fett."
Yeah, you're
And
right. That's a great
she's wanted and has a huge bounty on her head. So they can't. He's got to kind of take it off the books.
Well, not just that; it's the closest place.
Yeah,
I don't think there is a doctor in Los Angeles.
yeah.
I don't think it was Mos Espa. I think it was actually Mos Eisley, which is even smaller. It's far smaller than Mos Espa.
Yeah, he said it was on the outskirts of Mos Eisley.
Yeah.
I tried it was because that's where Mando lands in Mos Eisley.
Yeah,
and that's where the mechanic is.
yeah.
Well, I promise you,
the,
Mos Eisley doesn't have a doctor.
I guess it's just weird. I'm not used to there's been more of it in these the like Disney Plus series, but I'm not used to these like montages yet where they're like, you know, the whole like the guy's got all the different and then it shows him like donk donk donk, you know. I don't know. I know they're trying to be different, and they did the same thing when Boba was constructing his staff. Like,
yeah,
if you go back in any of the other Star Wars stuff, and granted they're movies and they're cut short for time, they don't have montages like that for the most part. It's usually just scene by scene or whatever's going on. So whenever I saw the whole stomach thing, it was just like, and then it had the rock and it's like, I was just like, I as a Star Wars fan, I'm like, I totally get it. It's like the Vespa thing, which I'm down with. It's like American Graffiti. It's like rebellious and stuff. But man, I couldn't help myself but notice it. You know what I'm saying? It's like, I just can't help but notice it. How different it is. It's different. That's all it is. It's good. It's just different.
A lot of action movies and like gangster movies, you'll see the hero gets injured and then they go to like this nasty back alley doctor, or they'll end up at like a veterinarian's office and like, here, this person's dying, fix them.
Yeah, that's
right.
true. Like,
Yeah.
and I always remember like in Minority Report when he has to get his eyes swapped out.
Yeah, they always go to like these super sketchy doctors.
Yeah.
So they could just be like making the show in the series more like what not necessarily, kind of like how Mandalorian leaned more towards the samurai cowboy kind of theme.
Yeah, this is the Western equivalent of going to the dentist and the only dentist in town saying, here, my friend's been shot, fix it.
Yeah, so I believe it. Yeah, but
I like it because what we're seeing is like we're kind of seeing all new corners of the Star Wars universe, and it's like we're not seeing like new sections per se with this show, but they're basically showing us like if all the movies we've seen took place in a room, they're turning the camera around and showing us the dark corner that we haven't seen. So it's still in that room, but it's like a weird corner that we're not familiar with. And so it's like this weird juxtaposition with like Mos Eisley, which we're used to, and then you have the biker gangs, and the camera's just going to follow me all over the place. And so it's like a juxtaposition of like old stuff and then like this weird, like out of place stuff. And I think it's really interesting.
no, I think you're right. I think you're absolutely right. I agree.
There's a story I want to see now after watching these 2 episodes, is I want to see young Luke being told by Uncle Owen and Aunt Beru, don't you dare go to Mos Eisley and get mods. I will ground you and put you out of the house.
Oh my gosh. Your friend's got a mod. I saw him. You're not allowed to hang out with him anymore.
Yeah, you're not allowed to hang out with Tank anymore. He's got mods. He's not good people to be around.
Yeah, his parents are the worst. Yeah. So they is he in his Bacta tank again? He is, because he's having
So Fennec wakes up. He basically tells her the story of what's going on. He's like, I need your help to go get my ship back. Now, okay, we want to digress here real quick. He says to her, I need to get my fire spray gunship back. And it goes, okay, just take that same line of dialogue. I need you to help me get my fire spray gunship back. I need you to help me get Slave One back. Those can have two drastically different connotations if you don't know what that word means.
Yeah.
One is, I need you to help go get my ship. The other is, do I need to help you go liberate a slave from somebody? This is not something I want to be a part of.
Well, also, like, she wouldn't know what the heck, what's Slave One. That'd be like Han going up to a random person and being like, have you seen Millennium Falcon? Be like, what the hell is Millennium Falcon?
Well, I guess it depends on who you're asking. Wasn't the Millennium Falcon pretty popular?
What the hell's an aluminum falcon?
Exactly. Help me get my falcon. Is it a bird? Is it up in the sky? What are we talking about here? Yes. No one has renamed the ship. It is still called the Slave One. It's just context. He's trying to get this person on his side. You can't just drop in and be like, oh yeah, I'm going to talk about slaves with you. Because that might
Also,
be an issue.
who cares if it's Slave One or not? They never even said it in any of the movies. They
say it in Clone Wars. It is said aloud in Clone Wars.
Okay, well, there you go. It's canon.
Only in Clone Wars.
Here's the question, though. Is that Jango's ship? Is it just a repainted Jango ship?
Yes.
Okay.
It is. No, I don't think anyone has come out directly and said, but it is heavily implied that this is the same ship.
It's got all the same sound effects, all the same, like, everything. Yeah. The only thing is, when I was back researching Boba Fett and I was on the Dented Helmet forums all the time, there were people who would do like model kits of the ships, and there were differences between the Slave One set and then the whatever Jango's ship. I don't know what it was called.
He's always called the Slave One.
Okay, so there was differences between Jango's ship and Boba's ship, and so you couldn't just build one. It was either one or the other. You couldn't just paint one and call it the other.
It crashed more than once in Clone Wars.
That's true.
Ahsoka kind of chopped one of the wings off, and then
Yeah, just had some spare parts. That's all. So they get the ship.
If you ever watch Supernatural, it's like the car from Supernatural. How many times has that thing been destroyed and rebuilt?
Yeah, that's true.
Same thing.
So they get the ship back, and then first thing he's gonna do is he's gonna get his revenge.
We're glossing over.
We skipped over how he gets the ship back. So he knows the ship.
Oh yeah.
In the teeny tiny garage at Jabba's palace. It's like he parallel parked this thing, and then somebody was like, "Oh no, I'm just gonna park in front of you. I'm gonna leave my truck here in front of your car for 5 years."
Well, wasn't he trying to get he was trying to get out a different way, because wasn't the main hatch like locked at first?
Well, they had to open it, but that's a different. He basically has to first. They have to sneak into the garage to get it, and there's like 30 guards between them and the ship.
Yeah, it takes them forever to realize, like, yeah, there's a bunch of guards in there. Like, what are we gonna do?
So they sneak in through the pipes, through the sewers, and into the kitchen, and we get
fight General Grievous.
The two great cooking droids, which that had to have been EV-99.
It was EV-99
because
it was definitely EV-99.
It had the 3 eyes, and they were doing a very similar voice.
Yes.
Wait, which one? The little one?
The one that was talking like this. The one that talked to.
That's the sailboat.
Yeah.
That one.
Oh, the white one.
The one that was mean.
Oh, the other one. Yeah. I know what you're talking about.
The white one that he talks to all the time, that's 88. That's the one that was torturing the power droid.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
EV-99 is the one that was talking to 3PO and had him go up there and put R2 on the sail barge.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Sorry.
I like the little I don't know what, the rat catcher droid. That thing was awesome.
Yeah, I love seeing the bunny droids from Clone Wars.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah, that was weird to see.
And we got the 6-armed chef droid, which was awesome. I didn't realize is in Attack of the Clones when they're on board when Anakin and Padme are on the ship. that's the little droid that's cooking that yells at R2 for taking a piece of bread.
Oh, wow.
Talk about a deep cut right there. I mean, my God.
Wow.
I didn't know it until somebody pointed it out, and I was like, oh my God, I've never looked at that droid, and I've watched that movie for 20 years.
I remember that droid now. I do remember. I remember that scene because
Like
they're
this head
wearing
looks
weird
like-
costumes.
Yeah, because they're traveling as refugees.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, the whole chase in the kitchen was hilarious. I loved
my
every
God.
second of that scene.
It was amazing.
He's chasing the little bunny droid around. It's through everything. And then he finally catches it and he picks it up. And he's like, do you know who I am? And the droid's just like, I'm just going to turn myself off.
Self-destruct.
Turns itself off. That was great.
Yeah. So they get the ship out. They have to shoot a whole bunch of dudes.
Well, he also can't, like, he keeps like dragging the tail around, like the tail of the ship is like scraping around the hangar and like hitting stuff and like just making this awful racket.
Yeah, he said, because I watched it again, he's like, I can't see. And then I realized why. It's because of the stupid design of the ship. He can only see the ceiling. He can't see out this way because the ship has to turn like this for him to see it forward.
It reminded me of that
ship design.
It was like that SpongeBob episode where they're on the Flying Dutchman ship and the ship is like scraping against something. It's like they're like, you're good, like that scene.
Yeah. So, and then Fennec kills the Gonk droid.
But it was a pretty cool explosion.
Yeah. So they shoot their way out, and he's like, I got some scores to settle. You want to come with? She's like,
Yes.
Sure.
Well, I owe you for the robot stomach.
Yeah. Watching him gun down the biker gang was glorious. That was
Oh my God. He's like one of those was it like the A-10 is the military plane. It's like an A-10 Bulldog or something. It's like that was like what that was.
Yeah.
And it was really really subtle too, because you got the biker gang riding there and you just kind of like see a shadowy figure back, and then it comes closer and you're like, oh no.
That was great.
Yep.
Yeah.
Then
And then we get the wonderfully adorably stupid moment of him taking the ship. He's like, I gotta look for my armor. I need to look inside the Sarlacc dude, even though I got out of it wearing it. So I'm gonna take the ship and go face down into the Sarlacc pit.
I just because the Sarlacc grabs the ship and he can't get out, and so Fennec hits the switch to like the bomb, but it like pops up off the back and has to roll off the ship and then like into the Sarlacc. That I thought was just ridiculous.
It was the most wonderfully stupid thing because he tried to shoot it, but again, because the design of the ship is so stupid, the guns are all the way at the bottom, so he's just shooting sand.
Yeah. This is a really terribly designed ship. I never really thought about how terrible it
it's
is.
so cool when you see it though. It's probably one of
It
the
is
coolest
cool.
looking ships ever, but
It's good in space, but
Not
as soon
practical.
as you get it onto the ground, it's not very practical.
no.
Django was all about the aesthetic, not necessarily practicality.
That is true. Yep.
So they managed to kill the Sarlacc, and he's still not settled. He's like, oh no, we looked down there, we blew it up. I need to crawl down there and double check.
He wanted his armor, man. If it was mine, I'd do it too. I mean, look at this sweet helmet. Wouldn't you go digging around in the Sarlacc for it? Come on.
So I guess he's assuming that the Jawas who robbed him immediately got eaten. So
Yeah, I guess
See, I don't
he
think
forgot
so.
about that.
I think that he was so out of it when he got out.
He doesn't
He
know.
didn't realize he was wearing it anymore. He doesn't remember it because it was such a time getting out. He was so worn out, and as he started to come to, they knocked him out again.
Yep.
He assumed that when he woke up, he just didn't have it on because it was still down there.
He got knocked out probably like what 3 times that day too.
Yeah,
I mean, and dragged around unconsciously.
dehydration, sunstroke. Okay, so yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He was
It was a rough
completely
day.
out. Yeah.
Definitely. So, but he wakes up from his bacta tank and he's fully healed.
Yes. So I think that was their way. Also, the flashbacks basically then kind of like quickly sped up through the
Right.
remainder of like, okay, here's that final scene from Mando season 2 again.
Yeah.
Just kind of like bringing us back up to the present.
Yep.
Basically, it was like your flashbacks are over.
Yeah.
Finally, that's what that means.
Which, if you during that scene, if you look at the paint job of the armor, you can tell that they interspliced new stuff with the stuff that they filmed during season 2, because season 2 was the Boba Fresh, but in this season it's a lot more battle damage, and so you can actually see there's like inconsistencies with, like, you'll see the Boba Fresh, and then they had a different shot where you can see like the new cat scratch on his armor, and the green is a little bit of a different shade of green. It was the Boba Fresh green was a little bit darker of shade.
Right now.
So then he
He goes to
finds
the
out
bar, right?
things in town. He needs his attention, so he goes to town, and there's Chrysanthemum, or Santos as they call him, is his nickname, hanging out in the bar, and he ain't happy. And
Well, he ain't happy because the 3 loud Trandoshans.
Yeah, he's like, I am grumpy, I am upset, and then I have to look at these mother-loving Trandoshans over here having the best old time, just kind of rubbing salt into every little wound he has.
And their eyes actually looked really good in this episode. They
When he finally grabs one and picks him up, the eyes are perfect because this animated puppet just has this sheer look of terror in his face.
It really came across.
I know
like
Evan
that.
will get this. Wayne probably too. When he's sitting in that seat drinking his beer or ale or whatever he's drinking and just simmering, does that not look like Worf?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I can see it.
That's Worf from Next Gen, just sitting there just sipping his prune juice, just angry.
staring at Ferengi.
Yeah. Yeah. And then he what's her name? The Twilight who runs the bar tries to talk him down, be like, "Oh, you were great. You've done really good. Let's just wipe your bar tab clean and you can just mosey on for your day. Just put the nice little lizard down." He's like, "I'll put him down minus an arm."
Well, no,
Yeah,
she
classic.
said that delimbing him, like ripping his arms off, is now looked down upon because they're not in war anymore. And if he sets him down, leaves him alone, she won't charge him for his drinks. He will not be bought, rips the arm off anyway, and still pays for his drinks.
Yeah. Which I'm glad that they included in the first episode. When we see a Trandoshan presenting a gift to Boba Fett, he presents
It's
a Wookiee pelt. So I'm glad they kind of made that connection for people who don't necessarily know, like, oh, Trandoshans and Wookiees have this whole complicated history.
Oh, yeah.
Interesting.
Oh, I didn't know
But
that.
the nice little tie-in, you can be like, oh yeah,
Trandoshans will go to Kashyyyk, kidnap Wookiees, bring them back to another planet, and hunt them.
Wasn't that
Oh.
in an episode of Clone Wars?
Yes.
Oh, I remember that.
Yeah.
The most dangerous game.
Trandoshans and Wookiees don't get along very well. They don't like each other. So yeah.
Which,
That's
if you think about it, is pretty funny that Chrysanthemum is helping him, because first time we see Boba, he's got Wookiee braids under his arm.
Yeah.
He's got what, 2 or 3?
3 of them.
3 of them.
He all burnt up in that sarlacc acid.
He's done some Wookiee hunting himself.
That's very true.
Yeah. And in the comics, Chrysanthemum and Boba Fett have worked together in the past.
Yes.
And just for everybody who was complaining the first time we saw Chrysanthemum, you could see it in this episode. He does have his scar.
Yeah.
He has
you
a
couldn't really
scar
see it.
over one eye.
You couldn't really see it in the other episodes. This episode, it was very obvious. There was it almost looked like when somebody's losing their hair and they do the comb over. It looked like he had done a comb over of his
It
fur
looked like
over
he
the
was like
scar.
burned underneath. Yeah, like his
Yeah.
skin was burned and scarred, and his hair was just barely covering it.
Yeah.
He got the
Very
scar from
subtle.
Obi-Wan. Obi-Wan gave him the scar when they fought.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's one of the Star Wars comics. Yeah, that's how mean he is. He fought Obi-Wan to a standstill.
And
So as he's leaving the bar, Boba's coming in. He's like, "That was cool. You want a job?" And so Boba's starting to put together his plan of inviting the heads of the 3 families who control Mos Espa: the Klatooinians, the Aqualish, and the Trandoshans. Because he knows the Pikes are coming and he needs to deal with it.
And I'm telling you, it's the first one that you just said. Like the Aqualish, I think they'll stay out of it, and the Trandoshans will stay out of it. But those other ones, I think they'll be the ones to turn on him.
Yeah, it definitely felt like watching it, like he's putting this out there being like, okay, I need you to say you're either with me or you're at least going to stay neutral. And they all said, we're neutral. He's like, that's cool. But yeah, definitely at least one of those groups is going to turn on it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's the I keep calling him Barada because that's who he looks like, because that was the race. That character Barada was one of them.
Klatooinians.
Yeah.
Because it's Klaatu Barada, Nikto.
Yeah.
And the main Klatooinian, the one who had kind of the purple kind of Doctor Strange cloak going on, the guy who was actually in the costume is a 501st member.
Oh,
Nice.
cool. Is that one of his? That's one of his 501st costumes.
No.
Oh.
He's
What?
also
that was him. That was him playing a part.
Yeah, he's a professional actor who also happens to be a 501st member. In one of the
That's awesome.
his name.
But now he has to have that costume.
Yeah, he's just gonna call up Lucasfilm and say, "Hey, you know that costume I wore in that one episode? Can I have it?"
Yeah. Like, can I just borrow it to make a replica?
Can I wear it for approval pictures?
Yeah. I just want to be approved.
He's not the voice though. The voice is Phil Lamar, who's a voice actor. He's done everything. He's Hermes on Futurama. He was Kit Fisto and Bail Organa in Rebels and Clone Wars.
Is he the guy who plays?
Didn't he do Jar Jar?
He is never officially stated. He might have been the alternate voice of Jar Jar when Ahmed Best was.
I'm thinking it was him. Because yeah, that did go uncredited, didn't
it? They made up a name for it, B.J. Hughes.
But I'm thinking it was Phil Lamar.
I don't think he wanted to take credit for it. I think he did it simply because they needed a voice, and Ahmed was unavailable for undisclosed reasons.
I think he was also the admiral in Lower Decks, wasn't he?
Maybe.
I think I saw his name recently with attached to that character. But that scene when they have the heads of the families, I didn't realize until the Rancor roared or bumped or something that they were over top of the opening to the pit. And so as soon as they realized the Rancor was there, they all got up and got out of the way.
Yeah. That was very cool. So he's got Fennec on one side, he's got Chrysanthemum on the other, and then he's got the Rancor underneath him. That is I'm in charge.
Talk about a power move. I loved it.
Yeah. So yeah. And then all the families leave, and it's definitely him and Fennec are talking, and they're basically she's like, we need to buy some muscle. And then a lovely theme enters into the closing credits. So we get the Mando's theme brought in.
Yep.
So I think we're getting a reunion of sorts.
Foreshadowing, yes.
I don't care if we see Mando himself, but I'd love to see just a bunch of Mandalorians.
Yeah. I'm wondering who's going to show up with him. Are we getting is he bringing Bo-Katan with him and all them, or is it just going to be Mando? Because Cara Dune died on the way to her home planet, and
she got the Rigelian plague and
yeah,
make it.
Let's see, because that was at the end of season 2, Mando, he's just on a ship. I mean, Bo-Katan's there, Cara Dune's there, Fennec's there, and it's him. And then Luke takes Grogu, and then he's just kind of hanging out on the ship. So it'd be cool if like Bo and some Death Watch Mandos would show up,
Yeah,
sporting their new Imperial cruiser.
Yeah.
That would be it.
Be very interesting to see what happens in the next episode.
Yeah, the next 3 episodes I think are really going to be ratcheting up that tension.
Yeah.
Nice.
As much as I love this last episode, I think it might have been my favorite one so far. It made me question one thing, and I was curious to get you guys' opinion as we kind of wrap up here. All right. So the show has been alternating between flashbacks and the present. Would it have been better if the show was just told in order? If instead of it flashbacks, like the show opened with him in the back of the tank dreaming, and then we just saw all the flashbacks, and then woke up and saw all the present scenes.
No, because then it would have felt like 2 different shows.
It kind of feels like 2 different
flashbacks.
shows.
Well, no, they work as flashbacks because you're okay. Here's where we are. How did it get to it? And you're getting it a little bit at a time. If you got it all at the beginning and then just flowing through, it wouldn't have worked as a story as well.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think it wouldn't like be as interesting. It would be like I feel like they wrote this.
We definitely want to know where he's at now.
Yeah,
but telling us how he did it along the way is fine. But to do it, okay, here's this. All right, now there's this. You can't fit in that in-between point where he finds the armor, goes to the Mando, helps out with that. Then, like, there's a gap there.
Yeah. I don't know. I keep comparing it in my head to Arrow, because Arrow is the only other show I can think of that used flashbacks as much as this. On Arrow, the flashbacks supported or were somehow connected to the present day storyline.
Yeah.
Like the same enemy or the same technique he had. There was always some connection between the two in most of the seasons, except for those bad seasons we don't talk about.
These will too, because I have a feeling I know where most of the muscle is going to come from.
You think
it's not going to be bought?
You think it's going to be some of the Tuskens? You think he's?
I think it's going to be all the Tuskens.
There's only like 2 left. I mean, that whole tribe got wiped out.
That tribe. If those 2 did get out and the story gets out to the others, if you're a part of one tribe, you're a part of all of them.
That would be hopeful.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's just been, since this last episode, it's been kind of nagging at me. And I'm just like, did we need to get the 2 storylines running opposite each other? Because like, I forget, it was like episode 2 was almost entirely flashback. There was like 1 scene in the present, and then the rest was just all flashback.
Yeah. The flashbacks didn't really support the modern, the today story like in Arrow. It was just it was like just flashback, and then the modern story were just 2 separate divergent stories, which are both great. But yeah, I could really see it either way. It's maybe made it a little bit more interesting juxtaposing them.
Honestly, I feel like if you were to split them up, like to have them in order, all the flashback scenes are the flashback, it's good to know and all that stuff, but it's all the really cool, exciting stuff is happening in the present. None of that flashback stuff is really cool and exciting. It's more like filling in the gaps. So if you were to have like the first part of the show, first few episodes, nothing but them, basically the flashback scenes, which is out with the Tusken Raiders, it'll be so boring. And then the end of the season would be exciting because you get Chrysanthemum and you get the twins and you get all that. So I bet it's just because of, the storytelling, like Wayne was saying, basically. Like it just, I don't know, it just works better to tell the story that way.
I can see it.
I always felt like with Arrow, at least, with the flashback always going towards, okay, this is what I'm facing now. This is what I did then. by the end of each episode, I always felt like, what did we learn on the show tonight, Craig?
Well, Arrow had its own set of issues, but
I've never seen Arrow, so I don't really know.
it's the only show I could think of that used flashbacks in this
right.
same kind of way, where you had two alternating storylines and you kept kind of
Right.
jumping between them.
Yeah, they didn't do this in The Mandalorian. They didn't have a reason to. Well, they did a little bit of flashbacks from Mandalorian because of his whole foundling thing. There
You
were
got, like, two scenes of
there
Yeah.
were literally
Images.
flashes. They were literally flashbacks, not these can't be called flashbacks. They're like whole entire freaking episodes of like memory loss, essentially. I don't know.
I don't know,
He's like remembering everything in the Bacta tank, whereas before his memory was shit. Or was poo poo. Sorry,
Poodoo.
it's it's later in the podcast. I think it'll slide.
It's Serenno Squadcast After Dark.
Oh man,
Yeah,
it really
don't
is
listen to
after
this
dark.
before 9 p.m.
Yeah, no. All right. Well, yeah, no, it was good couple of episodes, I would say.
I guess it all kind of see how does everything wrap up. So kind of see how they bring everything together.
That's right.
So,
We're still in the thick of it. We're gonna need a little bit more context because right now I really don't know what the goal of anything is really, other than to try to make everybody happy, right?
taking out the Pikes is definitely what we're going to be doing. That's the Pikes and the mayor, and I guess forming a more equitable underworld.
A more perfect union.
Fair enough. All right. Well, I think that's about it for this episode.
Yeah.
Well, just real quick, because we skipped over it. If you guys do end up going to the con, remember that Dante Bosco, the guy that played Rufio and Hook, was also on Rebels.
Oh,
as Jay Kill.
As who?
He was one of the.
Jay Kill.
He was
when Ezra goes into the Imperial Academy. He's one of the other cadets.
Okay. Cool. Very cool. So you got to get that autograph, Paul. Add that to your collection.
Finally getting LeVar Burton's autograph. And Michael Biehn was in Mando, of course.
Yeah.
We just need to get LeVar Burton in Star Wars somehow.
Yes.
Hear that? People listening, get him in Star Wars.
LeVar's agent, if you're listening.
Yeah, you heard it from us.
Hey, you got 2 weeks. Get a job in Star Wars.
All right. Well, let's find that. There it is. All right. So thank you guys for joining us this week. You can find us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and most importantly on YouTube. So we got the video. You can see Evan going from side to side and his camera seamlessly following his every move. It's pretty impressive. However, it's just the software.
Watch me slowly sink into my chair.
Yeah. If you wanted to learn more about the 501st, you can check out 501st.com to see about, getting us to come do an event. I'm frozen. I'm not. Okay, I'm better now. And if you are wanting to check out the approval photos, they're coming. They're not here right now, but they're coming soon. If you wanted to check out the Instagram page at Garrison Tyrannus, you can see those approval photos that we normally have. All right, well, until next time, everyone, thank you again for listening, for watching, and bye-bye.
Peace.
Toodles.